Space is silent. But sometimes, silence is the most dangerous sound. Far above Earth, beyond clouds and weather, something moves very fast. A spacecraft cuts through the dark sky. Inside it, humans trust machines with their lives. One small mistake can end everything. This story begins with a call. A desperate call. On Earth, inside a control room, lights blink again and again. Screens show numbers. Engineers watch carefully. Every second matters. Every sound matters. Suddenly, an alarm breaks the silence. Something is wrong. The spacecraft is Soyuz. Soyuz is not new. It is not shiny. It does not look like science fiction. But for more than 50 years, people have trusted it with their lives. Why? Because when things go wrong in space, Soyuz answers the call. Long ago, humans wanted to touch the stars. They built rockets. Many failed. Fire, smoke, and explosions became common. Space did not forgive mistakes. Many astronauts died in early space missions. Space was beautiful, but cruel. So engineers asked a simple question. How do we bring people back alive? That question gave birth to Soyuz. Soyuz was built with one goal, survival. Years later, this goal would be tested again and again. On one mission day, everything looked normal. The rocket stood tall. Astronauts entered the capsule. Their faces were calm, but their hearts were not. They knew the truth. The first 10 minutes decide life or death. The countdown started. 10, 9, 8. Fire exploded under the rocket. The ground shook. Soyuz rose slowly, and faster. The sky turned orange. The sound was loud, violent. Inside the capsule, astronauts felt heavy pressure. Their bodies were pushed into their seats. Breathing became hard. Everything was working, until it wasn't. A warning light turned red. On Earth, engineers froze. Data showed a problem in the rocket. A serious one. If the rocket failed now, there would be no time. Seconds passed. Inside the capsule, astronauts heard a sharp sound. The spacecraft shook in a strange way. This was not normal vibration. This was danger. They did not scream. They did not panic. They waited. Because Soyuz was designed for moments like this. High above Earth, in the middle of fire and speed, Soyuz made a decision faster than any human could. The escape system activated. In less than a second. Explosions pushed the capsule away from the rocket. Fire disappeared. Silence returned. The astronauts were alive. This is not a movie scene. This is real history. Soyuz has saved lives many times. But why does it work when others fail? To understand this, we must go back. Back to the idea behind Soyuz. Most spacecraft try to be perfect. They try to do many things. They try to be advanced. Soyuz does the opposite. It stays simple. Soyuz is not built for comfort. It is small, tight, uncomfortable. Astronauts sit very close to each other. There is no luxury. But every button has a reason. Every system has a backup. And every backup has another backup. Engineers believed one thing. Simple systems fail less. That belief saved lives. Over the years, many modern spacecraft came and went. Some were powerful. Some were expensive. Some failed after a few missions. Soyuz stayed. It kept flying. It kept improving slowly. It kept learning from mistakes, one small change at a time. That is why astronauts from many countries trust Soyuz. Even today. Because when things go wrong, Soyuz does not try to be smart. It tries to be safe. Inside Soyuz, there are no touch screens. No fancy displays. Mostly switches, lights, and simple controls. Because buttons work, even when computers fail. Space radiation can damage electronics. Software can crash. Screens can go dark, but a switch? A switch still works. Soyuz was built for worst-case situations. That desperate call from space is always expected. Soyuz is always ready to answer. But safety does not start in space. It starts with design. Soyuz is not one single capsule. It is made of 3 parts. Each part has one job. No confusion. No extra features. This design looks old, but it is smart. Many people laugh at Soyuz. They call it outdated. They say it belongs in a museum. But when astronauts must choose a ride to space, they choose Soyuz. Because space does not care about new technology. Space cares about survival. Every mission carries the same fear. What if something goes wrong? Soyuz already knows the answer. That desperate call. The call for help. The call for survival. Soyuz was built to answer it. And this is only the beginning. Because the real secret of Soyuz is not how it launches. It is how it is built. In the next part, we will go inside Soyuz. We will see its 3 sections. And we will understand how this simple design protects human life in the most dangerous place known to mankind. The story of Soyuz has just started. The Soyuz spacecraft looks small from the outside. Very small. From far away. It feels impossible that 3 humans can sit inside it, survive space, and come back alive. But Soyuz hides its strength inside its design, inside its 3 parts. Most people think a spacecraft is one piece, one body, one shell. Soyuz is not. Soyuz is like a human body. Each part has one job. If one part fails, the others still try to save life. Engineers did this on purpose. They knew one truth. In space, nothing works perfectly. So they never trusted one system. They trusted separation. The first part, the orbital module at the top of Soyuz, sits a round ball-like shape. It looks simple, almost harmless. This is the orbital module. This is the only place where astronauts feel a little human. Inside this small space, astronauts eat food. They talk. They prepare for space station docking. There is no luxury here. No soft bed. No wide space. But there is something important. Freedom to move. This module gives astronauts space to stretch their bodies after launch. In zero gravity, even small space feels big. But here is the strange part. This module never returns to Earth. Once the mission is done, it is thrown away. Why? Because Soyuz believes in one rule. Only keep what you need to survive. The orbital module is useful in space, but dangerous during return. It adds weight. It adds risk. So Soyuz lets it go. Cold. Silent. Without regret. In space. Survival is not emotional. The second part. The descent module. This is the heart of Soyuz. The most important part. The descent module. It is small. Very small. 3 astronauts sit inside, shoulder to shoulder. Knees bent. Bodies tight. It feels uncomfortable. It feels painful. But this is the only part that touches Earth again. This module is built like a shield. A strong shell. Thick walls. When fire burns during return, this part faces it. When parachutes open, this part carries the force. When landing hits hard ground, this part protects human life. Everything in Soyuz exists to protect this module. Inside, there are controls. Simple controls. No unnecessary buttons. No confusion. Astronauts train for years to understand this space. Because in emergency, there is no time to think. Only action. This module has saved lives again and again. Even when rockets failed. Even when systems broke. The descent module did its job. The third part, the service module at the back of Soyuz, sits the engine part. This is the service module. It has no windows. No seats. No humans. Only machines. This part gives Soyuz power. Electricity, movement. Air-controlled solar panels stretch out like wings. They catch sunlight and turn it into energy. Small engines help Soyuz move in space. Turn left, turn right, slow down, speed up. Without this module, Soyuz becomes dead metal. But like the orbital module, this part is also sacrificed before returning to Earth. It is thrown away. Soyuz does not carry extra weight. Soyuz carries only what is needed. Why? 3 parts matter. This design is old. Very old. But it is smart that each part does one job. No part tries to do everything. If one part fails, the others still function. Modern spacecraft try to combine systems. They look clean, advanced. Digital. Soyuz looks rough, but rough things survive longer. Engineers who designed Soyuz believed something simple. Complex systems fail in complex ways. So they avoided complexity. They chose clarity. A silent test in space once. During a mission, astronauts heard a strange sound. A vibration that should not exist. Inside the service module, a small problem appeared. Not dangerous, but not normal. In modern spacecraft, this could confuse computers. Soyuz did not panic. Its systems were simple. Engineers understood the problem quickly. No drama. No chaos. Just solution. This is why Soyuz is trusted. Not because it is perfect, but because it is predictable. Fear. Inside the capsule, astronauts sitting inside Soyuz feel fear. They always do. The capsule is small. The walls are close. Sounds are loud. During launch, their bodies feel 3 times heavier. During return, even more. But they trust the design. They trust the 3 parts. They know that when the time comes, Soyuz will let go of everything unnecessary. Only life will return. Design that thinks about death. Soyuz is honest. It accepts one truth. Something will go wrong. So it plans for failure. That is its secret. That is why it survives. But design alone is not enough. The most dangerous moment is still ahead. The launch. Fire, speed, explosion. In the next part, we will enter the most terrifying 10 minutes of any space mission. The moment when Earth lets go. And space decides who lives. The rocket does not care who sits inside. It does not know fear. It does not know hope. It only burns fuel. Inside the Soyuz capsule, 3 humans sit very still. Their backs are pressed into hard seats. Their helmets are locked. Their hands are calm, but their hearts are loud. This is the moment they fear the most. The first 10 minutes. Astronauts train for years, but nothing prepares them for this feeling. The feeling that once the rocket moves, there is no way back. On Earth, families watch screens. Engineers hold their breath. Every eye is on one machine. Soyuz. The countdown reaches 0. Fire explodes below the rocket. The ground shakes like an earthquake. The sound is violent, deep, and angry. Soyuz begins to rise, slowly at first. Then faster again. Inside the capsule, gravity attacks the body. Astronauts feel heavy. Very heavy. Their chests push down. Breathing becomes harder. This is normal. Everything is normal. But space does not warn. Before danger. As the rocket climbs higher, air becomes thin. The sky turns dark blue, then almost black. At this speed, one small mistake can destroy everything. Soyuz shakes. Not a soft shake. A hard one. Astronauts feel it immediately. They do not speak. They listen. Every sound inside the capsule has meaning. A click, a vibration, a sudden silence. The rocket reaches supersonic speed. Faster than sound, the pressure outside changes fast. Metal stretches. Fuel burns at extreme heat. This is where many rockets fail. But Soyuz continues. First stage separates. A loud bang. The rocket feels lighter. Astronauts feel a short moment of peace. Then the second stage ignites. Another push. Another wave of force. This is the moment engineers fear the most. Because if something fails now, there are only seconds to react. Inside the capsule, warning lights stay green. So far. But Soyuz never trusts luck. It watches itself. Thousands of sensors measure temperature, pressure, speed, and fuel. Soyuz is always ready to escape itself. At about 4 minutes into flight, the rocket is already far above Earth. Cities are small dots. The planet curves below. This is the last time astronauts feel close to home. Then something changes. Small number on a screen moves out of range. On Earth, an engineer notices it. He looks again. His face changes. He speaks quietly. There is a problem. Inside the capsule, astronauts hear a sound. A short alarm. Not loud. Not dramatic. But serious. They know this sound. This is the sound of decision. Soyuz must choose. Continue. Or save lives. There is no human control now. The computer checks the data. It compares numbers. It does not panic. It only follows rules written long ago. Rules written by people who knew rockets can fail. The rocket shakes harder. Astronauts feel sudden force. Their bodies press into seats more than before. This is not normal. This is danger. In less than 1 second, Soyuz reacts. Explosive bolts fire. The escape system activates. The capsule is ripped away from the rocket by raw force. Fire disappears. Noise disappears. Silence returns. The astronauts are thrown forward, then back. Their vision narrows. Their bodies feel weightless for a moment. Then gravity comes back. They are alive. Below them, the rocket breaks apart. Flames, metal, failure. Above it, Soyuz falls away, clean and untouched. Is why Soyuz is feared by rockets, because Soyuz is ready to leave them behind. Why launch is the most dangerous moment. 90% of space mission danger lives in the first 10 minutes. After orbit, space is quiet, cold, silent, but launch is violence. Fuel burns like controlled explosions. Engines push against gravity with impossible power. If one engine fails, balance is lost. If balance is lost, the rocket spins. If it spins, everything ends. That is why Soyuz treats launch like war. Every system is armed. Every second is watched. Other spacecraft try to fix problems. Soyuz escapes them. No hero buttons inside Soyuz. Astronauts cannot stop a failure. They cannot save a broken rocket. They are not heroes in this moment. They are passengers. Soyuz does not ask for permission. It decides alone. This makes astronauts feel small. It also keeps them alive. Human reaction is slow. Computers are fast. Soyuz trusts speed. Price of survival when Soyuz escapes. The mission ends. Years of planning are lost. Money is lost. Dreams are delayed, but lives are not lost. Soyuz was built with one rule. Mission can fail. Humans must not. That rule never changed. A lesson written in Fire Every Launch teaches Soyuz something. Engineers study data. They improve small things. They change numbers, not ideas. Soyuz does not evolve fast. It evolves safely. That is why it still flies, not because it is perfect, but because it respects danger. Above Earth, below death after escape, the capsule falls back toward Earth. Parachutes open. The landing is hard, but safe. Astronauts breathe again. They are shaken. They are tired. They are alive. On Earth, applause fills the control room. Not because the mission succeeded, but because Soyuz did its real job. The question that remains: if launch is so dangerous, if space is so cruel, Why do humans still go? Because above fear, above danger, above fire, there is curiosity. And Soyuz is the bridge between Earth and that curiosity. But launch is only the beginning, because space itself has its own dangers. Silence, cold, nothingness. In the next part, we will see what happens after launch, when Soyuz enters orbit, when Earth becomes a ball below. And when humans truly leave home. When the shaking stops, silence feels strange. Inside the Soyuz capsule, there is no fire sound, no engine roar, only breathing, slow, heavy. The astronauts are no longer flying up. They are floating. This is the first true moment in space outside the small window. Earth appears, blue, white, beautiful, calm. Soyuz does not celebrate. Because space is not friendly. It only looks peaceful. The moment gravity dies suddenly, the body feels light. Arms move by themselves. A pen floats away. A small push sends it flying. Zero gravity. For humans, this feels like magic. For Soyuz, this is danger. Without gravity, everything changes. Air does not move normally. Heat does not rise. Water does not fall. If one system fails now, there is no easy fix. Soyuz must control everything. Air, pressure, temperature. All at the same time. Yet it must do it quietly. No room for mistakes inside Soyuz. Space is tight. Very tight. Astronauts cannot walk. They cannot stand. They float carefully, like slow swimmers. One wrong movement can hit a switch. One mistake can damage equipment. Soyuz does not forgive careless actions. That is why every movement is trained on Earth again and again. Astronauts know exactly where their hands go, where their feet stop, where their bodies rest. Soyuz is small by design. Small space means less air to control, less heat to manage, less risk. Comfort is not the goal. Control is. The invisible enemies in space. Danger is not loud, that is silent. Radiation flows through metal. Tiny particles move faster than bullets. They cannot be seen. They cannot be heard. Soyuz cannot block everything, but it reduces exposure. Thick walls, smart angles, short mission time. Again, simple choices. Another enemy is temperature. One side of Soyuz faces the sun and burns hot. The other side faces darkness and freezes. Soyuz slowly turns itself. Like a slow dance. This keeps heat balanced. If it stops turning, one side will cook. The other will freeze. So Soyuz never sleeps, breathing in a metal shell. Every breath inside Soyuz is counted. Oxygen is limited. Carbon dioxide must be removed. Moisture must be controlled. Too much CO makes humans weak, dizzy, unconscious. Soyuz uses simple systems, filters, fans, sensors. Nothing fancy. If one filter fails, another waits. Soyuz always plans for failure, because space does not warn. The long quiet. Hours orbit is fast. Soyuz circles Earth every 90 minutes. Day, night. Day, night. Again and again. Astronauts see sunrise many times a day. Beautiful, but strange. Time feels broken. Sleep becomes difficult. The body is confused. Soyuz cannot fix this. It can only support. Lights turn on and off on schedule. Sounds stay low. Systems stay stable. Soyuz becomes a silent partner, always present. Never emotional. Docking. A slow test of nerve soon. Soyuz must meet the space station. This is not like landing a plane. There is no air, no brakes, no second chance. 2. Objects move at thousands of kilometers per hour. They must meet gently. Very gently. Soyuz moves slowly now. Tiny engines fire for milliseconds. A small push. Then stop. Astronauts watch numbers. Distance decreases. Meters. Centimeters. One wrong move can destroy both spacecraft. Soyuz does not rush. It never rushes. Finally, a soft contact. A click. The spacecraft connects. For the first time since launch. Astronauts relax. They made it. But Soyuz is not. Home. The space station is big, bright, spacious. Soyuz is not. Soyuz waits. It stays connected like a lifeboat. Silent. Ready. Astronauts know the truth. Something goes wrong on the station. If fire breaks out, if air leaks, Soyuz is the only way home. That is its real job. Not travel. Escape. A craft that knows its purpose. Soyuz does not try to impress. It does not try to look modern. It does not try to be comfortable. It only asks one question. Can I bring them back alive? If the answer is yes, Soyuz is successful. Everything else does not matter. The shadow of return while astronauts work in space. Soyuz waits, but return is always coming. And return is never easy. Because leaving Earth is dangerous. But coming back is worse. Fire. Speed. Violence. Soyuz knows this. It prepares quietly. Because the most frightening part of the journey has not happened yet. In the next part, we will follow Soyuz as it turns back toward Earth. When space lets go and fire takes over. Leaving Earth is loud. Coming back is violent. Soyuz knows this. While astronauts work in space, the spacecraft waits quietly. It does not move much. It does not speak. It only listens. Time passes. Days, weeks, sometimes months. But return is always coming. And when the time arrives, Soyuz wakes up. The decision to leave space. Inside the space station, astronauts pack their final items. Simple things, photos, notes, small objects from Earth. They look around one last time. The station feels like home now. Soyuz does not. Soyuz feels like a warning. When astronauts enter the capsule again, the space feels smaller than before. Their bodies are heavier. Their bones are weaker. Space change them. Soyuz must protect them now more than ever. Hatches close. A final check. A silent moment. Then Soyuz separates from the law. Station. Slowly. Carefully. There is no sound outside. Only numbers change on screens. Distance increases. The station becomes smaller. Soon it is gone. Turning toward fire. Soyuz must slow down. To return to Earth. It must lose speed. This sounds safe. It is not. Soyuz turns around in space. Its engines point in the wrong direction. Backward. This feels wrong to humans. But this is the only way. Engines fire. Not for long. Just enough. This small burn decides everything. If the angle is wrong, Soyuz can burn too much. If it burns too little, Soyuz can miss Earth and stay in space. There is no correction later. This moment is final. The engines stop. Soyuz drifts. Earth waits below. Separation. Letting go again now. Soyuz does something strange. It breaks itself. Explosive bolts fire. The orbital module separates. Then the service module separates. They fall away into darkness. Only one part remains. The descent module. Small, heavy, strong. Everything else is gone. Soyuz becomes a falling shield. The first touch of fire at first. Nothing happens. Then the shaking begins. Light shaking, then harder. Air becomes thicker. Friction grows. Outside the capsule, the temperature rises fast. Very fast. Fire wraps around the module. Not normal fire. Plasma. Hotter. Then lava. Astronauts cannot see it, but they can feel it. The capsule roars like a storm. This is the most dangerous part of the journey. Trusting the heat shield. The heat shield burns on. Purpose. It is made to die. Layer by layer. It melts away. This protects the inside. If the shield fails, nothing survives. No backup exists here. This is the only system Soyuz cannot replace. Astronauts say nothing. They wait. They trust. Minutes feel like hours. Then, slowly, the shaking reduces. The fire fades. Soyuz survived again. Blackout during return. Communication stops. Radio signals cannot pass through the hot plasma. On Earth, screens go silent. Engineers stare. No voice. No data. Only time passes. This is normal. But normal feels terrifying. Inside the capsule, astronauts feel alone. No Earth. No space station. No help. Only Soyuz. And hope. Gravity comes back angry as Soyuz slows down. Gravity returns. Not gently. Hard. Astronauts feel their bodies pushed down with crushing force. 5 times their body weight. Sometimes more. Breathing becomes painful. Vision narrows. This is where training saves lives. Soyuz holds together. It does not break. It never tries to be soft. It tries to be strong. The sky opens suddenly. A loud bang. Parachutes deploy. The capsule jerks violently. From falling bullet to floating leaf. Speed drops fast. Air noise replaces fire. Below, land appears. Brown, white, green. Earth. But is not over. Soyuz is still falling. Fast. Too fast. At the last moment. Small rockets fire under the capsule. Dust explodes. Impact. The landing is hard. Very hard. But the capsule stays intact. Silence returns. Back from the edge. Astronauts sit still. Breathing. Alive. The hatch opens. Cold air rushes in. Earth smells different. Real. Soyuz did not fly like a dream. It fought like a survivor. The unspoken truth. Many spacecraft can go to space. Few can come back safely. Soyuz is one of them, because it accepts one truth. Space is not kind, and survival is never beautiful. In the next part, we will look at the people behind Soyuz. The engineers who trusted simplicity over pride, and why this old spacecraft still outlives new ones. Soyuz does not think. People do. Behind every bolt, every switch, every decision, there were humans. Quiet humans. Serious humans. People who never wanted fame. They only wanted astronauts to come home alive. Engineers who learned from failure in the early days of space travel. Failure was common. Rockets exploded. Capsules burned. Lives were lost. Every failure left pain. Some engineers quit. Some lost hope. But some stayed. They looked at broken metal and asked a hard question. What did we do wrong? They did not blame space. They did not blame luck. They blamed design. Soyuz was not created by dreamers. It was created by realists. Different way of thinking. Many space programs chased speed. Others chased beauty. Some chased politics. Soyuz chased survival. Engineers made a strange choice. They said, if a system is not needed to save life, remove it. That was dangerous thinking. Simple designs look weak. They look old. They do not impress leaders. But simple designs survive. Why? Soyuz looks old. People often laugh at Soyuz. They say it looks like the past. They say it belongs in history books. The engineers smile. Because Soyuz looks old on purpose. Old systems are understood. Old systems are tested. Old systems are trusted. New technology can surprise you. Soyuz 8's surprises. No ego in the design. Soyuz has no pride. It does not care who built it. It does not care which country uses it. It only follows rules. If pressure is wrong, gives. React. If temperature rises, gives. Adjust. If danger appears, gives. Escape. No drama. Just logic. Engineers removed anything emotional from Soyuz. Because emotions kill in space. The power of repetition. Soyuz missions look. Boring. Launch. Orbit. Dock. Return. Again. 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 But repetition is power. Every mission adds knowledge. Every mistake is recorded. Every success becomes a rule. Soyuz was not rebuilt many times. It was refined. Small changes. Careful changes. Never fast changes. A tool. Not a symbol. Other spacecraft became symbols. They represented nations. Power. Pride. Soyuz was a tool. A lifeboat. When other programs stopped, Soyuz stayed. When others failed, Soyuz waited. Quietly. Astronauts. Trust engineers. They never meet astronauts. Train hard. But in space, they depend on people they never see. Engineers who designed bolts. Engineers who chose wire thickness. Engineers who decided where switch should be. Every detail matters. In emergency, astronauts do not think about engines. They think. Did the engineers think about this? Soyuz answers, yes. Why Soyuz is still used today. New spacecraft exist now. They are modern, comfortable, beautiful. But when risk is high, people still choose Soyuz. Because Soyuz has history. History written in survival. Quiet victory. Soyuz never celebrated. It never needed applause. Every safe landing was enough. Every life saved was success. Engineers knew something important. If no one talks about us, it means we did our job. The last truth. Technology moves fast, but space never changes. It is still cold, still violent, still unforgiving. Soyuz understands this. That is why it lasts. What comes next? But even the strongest spacecraft faces limits. Metal gets tired. Designs age. Time moves on. The world is changing. New ideas. New risks. New missions. In the next part, we will face the big question. Can Soyuz survive the future? Or will space finally demand something new? Time does not stop for anyone. Not for humans. Not for machines. Not even for Soyuz. For decades, Soyuz has done one job better than anyone else. Bring people back alive. But now, the world is changing. And space is changing too. New space. New rules. In the past, only governments went to space. Big budgets. Slow decisions. Long testing. Today, new companies enter space. They move fast. They take risks. They promise cheaper flights. Their spacecraft look modern. Screens instead of switches. Software instead of hardware. Comfort instead of survival first design. Soyuz watches quietly. It does not compete. It waits. The question engineers ask. Every engineer who worked on Soyuz knows one truth. No design lives forever. Metal gets weak. Parts become old. Knowledge moves on. The question is not if Soyuz will retire. The question is when. And what comes after. Can simplicity still win? New spacecraft trusts software. Soyuz trusts physics. Software can be updated, but software can fail. Physics never changes. Fire burns. Gravity pulls. Metal breaks. Soyuz was built for these truths. But future missions are different. Longer missions. More humans. Farther destinations. Mars. Moon bases. Deep space. Soyuz was not built for that. A craft that knows its limits. Soyuz does not pretend to be perfect. It was built for Earth orbit. Short trips. Quick returns. It is not made for months in deep space. It cannot protect humans from long radiation exposure. Cannot carry large crews. And Soyuz accepts this. Knowing limits is also intelligence. Learning from Soyuz. Even new spacecraft copy Soyuz ideas. Escape systems. Redundancy. Simple backups. They may look new, but their hearts are old. Soyuz changed how humans think about safety. Before Soyuz, make it advanced. After Soyuz, make it survive. Astronauts speak softly about trust when astronauts talk privately. They speak honestly. They say Soyuz feels scary, small, tight, but they also say, it brings you home. Trust is not about comfort. Trust is about history. Soyuz has history. The silent end approaches one day. Soyuz will fly its last mission. No big ceremony. No loud goodbye. Just one more launch. One more return. And then silence. But that silence will not mean failure. It will mean success. Because Soyuz survived long enough to teach others. The legacy question: when Soyuz stops flying, what remains? Not metal. Not rockets. Ideas. Design rules. Safety thinking. Respect for danger. Those ideas will travel farther than Soyuz ever did. One last thought: Soyuz never tried to reach the future. It tried to protect the present. And maybe that is why it lasted so long. The final chapter awaits. Story of Soyuz is not just about space. It is about choices. Simple over complex. Safe over fast. Human life over success. In the final part, we will answer the most important question. Why does Soyuz matter to all of humanity? Even after it is gone, long after the noise ends, some stories stay alive. Soyuz is one of them. It was never the fastest, never the most beautiful, never the most modern. Yet it became one of the most important machines ever built, not because of what it could do, but because of what it protected. A small capsule. With a big responsibility, Soyuz carried humans into the most dangerous place known. Not once, not twice, but hundreds of times. Every mission was a promise that someone would come back. Home, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters. Soyuz did not know their names, but it carried their lives. Space does not care about dream. Space is honest. It does not care about pride. It does not care about money. It does not care about history. It only cares about physics. Speed, heat, force, cold. Soyuz respected this truth. That is why it survived. Lesson for all humanity: Soyuz teaches a simple lesson. Progress does not always mean new. Sometimes progress means better understanding. Better respect for danger. Better planning for failure. Better care for life. In a world that moves fast, Soyuz moved carefully, and that made all the difference. When things went wrong many times, missions failed. Rockets exploded. Systems broke. Plans ended, but people lived. Because Soyuz was ready for failure. It expected it. And that expectation saved lives. The quiet hero Soyuz never stood on a stage. No applause followed its landings. No crowds cheered. When it touched Earth. It landed in empty fields. In snow. In silence. That silence was success. Beyond nations and flags, Soyuz carried people from different countries. Different languages. Different beliefs. Inside the capsule. None of that mattered. There were no borders in space. Only humans. Soyuz reminded the world of that. What Soyuz leaves behind one day, Soyuz will stop flying. Metal will rest. Engines will cool. History will move forward. But the idea will remain. That human life is more important than technology. That simplicity can be strength. That survival is the greatest success. The true meaning of space travel. Space is not about rockets. It is not about planets. It is about people. People who dare to leave Earth. People who trust machines. People who want to explore, but also want to return. Soyuz existed for that return. A final image: imagine a small capsule falling through fire. Inside, 3 humans sit in silence. They trust something built decades ago. They trust Soyuz. Fire fades. Parachutes open. Earth rises. They are home. The end. And the beginning Soyuz was not perfect, but it was honest. And in space. Honesty keeps you alive. This is why Soyuz matters. This is why Soyuz will be remembered, not as a machine, but as a guardian of human life. The end.